I'm sorry. Is that funny? Are you stand-up comic? Is that what you do now?
I will consult the bones.
Throw me a frickin' bone here.
I'm sorry I was born with this perfect bone structure.
It's time for the Comedy Bone Podcast, stand-up comedy radio with your host, Brian Monarch. Are you ready?
God is ready.
There are 215 bones in the human body. That's one.
I just got that old-fashioned romantic feeling where I'd do anything to bone her.
Yes. Bad to the bone. Bad. What's up, fellow comedians?
Howdy.
Ro,
What's up?
how you doing?
My earring was just messing with me, so.
It's because you put the headphone above it.
I can't even. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, I'm comfortable. It's a comfortable couch.
Yeah. I'm going to go around and introduce everybody before we get started.
Yeah.
On the love seat right here, we have Reverend Mitch. Do you like being called Reverend? Or Rev?
Yeah, that's fine. Reverend's fine.
Reverend, fine. Okay.
Wow.
You can see his podcast. He has an awesome podcast that's been going on for over a year now at riffin.net.
Yes.
Yep. And I'm in episode 3. Don't miss that one. And
Drunken Night.
you do comedy all over L.A.,
Aye.
all the clubs, and he's a generally cool dude. Say hello to your fans, Rev.
Woo! Hello, fans.
There we go. And then on the couch, Ro Delle,
Yeah, that's me.
one of my favorite Italian comics.
Thank you.
Yeah, of
Thank
course. Let's see what you got. You were on the Oxygen Network, Comcast TV, and you did a short called Cinderellas.
Yeah, It was like a New York version of Cinderella.
Oh,
I played a stepsister.
Oh,
It was not hard.
I would have cast you as Cinderella myself.
Oh, thank
but
you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. No, I was a stepsister.
All right. And then we have, next to the stepsister, we have Jason Love. And Jason, you were on a bunch of stuff, man. You've been on, like, the Bob and Tom Show, Last Comic Standing, Comedy Central, HBO's Luck.
That's right. I got all the
TBS.
bags beneath my eyes.
All the pressure that goes along with being on those shows.
Waking up at 4:30
Yeah.
in the morning.
Christ, yeah.
That's cool.
That's what,
How'd that go with Luck? How was that?
with luck.
How'd that feel?
It wasn't very lucky.
No, that's what I'm wondering.
Oh, that's
like,
a show that got canceled because the horses,
It was the
right?
most awesome thing that never happened.
Yeah.
I saw like 3 or 4 episodes, and I just was going like, all right, I like the vibe.
Yeah.
I like all the actors, but like nothing actually happened yet.
No,
so
they
I was
were
like,
all-
I'm
they were-
waiting.
The second season they had already finished, and they ended up
wow.
not even airing it, but it was really building up. It was going to be an awesome show.
Because the horses died, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Really? Is that what
Yeah.
happened?
You didn't know that, man?
No,
That's why.
I thought everybody had the same thought I had.
Yeah, they
I
killed.
thought-
No, three
was
horses
Luck?
died.
I've never even heard of it. No
Yeah,
offense.
we should probably let the host in on the conversation.
yeah.
you did.
No,
yeah,
what was it?
Well,
though?
it was gonna be it was this one season series on HBO with they had Dustin Hoffman and Nick Nolte.
Oh, I remember they had commercials for that when I
Yeah.
was watching like Entourage and stuff.
Yeah,
right.
And they
All-star cast.
they had just gotten airborne, and they found out they had killed 3 horses.
I mean, not kill. I mean, they
They
probably
didn't-
didn't
they didn't,
murder
like-
them,
yeah,
but they
they didn't knock 'em out.
died mysteriously.
So, so the horses.
They ran
Yeah.
them to death. Is kind of what happened.
Yeah,
So they
probably,
were-
right?
Yeah, they
Wow.
Poor
Rough.
horses.
So they stopped the show.
Those horses have more credits than I do.
Can't
Yeah.
you just go to a horse track and be like, those are the horses we're using this show?
Yeah, no
Who'd
shit.
notice?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's really weird.
I don't know.
Yeah, PETA doesn't take kindly to
Oh no,
dead anything.
no! You can't do that. I've actually done shows with all 3 of you guys.
Yeah.
Me and Jason just did a show together, Inventory. That was fun. And me and Mitch did a show where they were throwing tomatoes at us.
Are you
Yeah.
serious? Was that
Rotten
part of the?
tomatoes,
Was that
rotten.
part of the thing where they gave the audience tomatoes?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
For
Seriously?
breast cancer.
Yeah, one of my clients came out and
Yeah.
he bought all the big golden ones.
Yeah.
Wait.
I was
why?
nervous.
Fucking, I got whacked in the nose when I.
Yeah, you got.
it
Did
was
you
like
not
it
even
was
tell
like
a
an
joke,
awards thing,
right? or
and then I
something?
was like holding all these.
Oh, yeah.
She was like, and you win this piggy bank.
Yeah.
And you win a golden pineapple, and I'm holding all this stuff, and I'm like, yeah, and they put a tiara on me, and then everybody realized, oh, I still have like 5 tomatoes.
And they threw them.
And one just went right
yeah.
side of my nose, and I was like, and my eyes started to water up, and I was like, oh god, this looks like I'm genuinely getting emotional about this moment.
Oh yeah,
Well, that's a show I'm glad I wasn't on.
Oh my
Oh,
god,
it was a great show.
Yeah,
Great
it
show.
It was.
She killed it.
So that's an interesting.
I was nervous.
It's an interesting concept. Tomatoes. I don't think I'm going to implement that at my shows.
No. It's very nerve-wracking.
Yeah,
it is. It's a little. Yeah, it's a little.
Rick yelled at the whole audience. Said, "This is wrong."
I did a show where they handed out pineapples because it was for people had cancer in the audience. So I'm glad they didn't throw that. That would
Wait, why would they give you a pineapple? Don't they need chemo?
They serve pineapple and water. That's all they get.
That's weird.
That's it. They don't get chemo.
Well, they get chemo too.
You can pull the mic a little closer.
We're holding out on the chemo in lieu of the pineapple.
What about chemo?
What about your credits, Brian? Do you ever go over those, or you just always?
No, I never mentioned my credits.
Well, let's hear your credits.
Yeah,
what do you do?
Okay, I was on Solid Gold when I was in 6th grade.
Whoa!
I lip synced. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas to the Chipmunks. They picked 2 or 3 students from each classroom, and we got to just lip sync that. And they showed me for about 2 or 3 seconds.
Hey, buddy, I didn't know if we're doing those credits. I won the spelling bee champion. I was the spelling bee champion in 6th grade.
Was that on national TV like Solid Gold?
No, but I was in the local paper.
Oh, okay. Well, we can include that.
I was part of a conspiracy in 7th grade.
I have another
credit. I would have won the spelling bee for my that would have gone on to the finals.
That's what the runner-up said at our place.
Well, they said the final word was core, and I said, "Do you mean Apple Corps or Marine Corps?" But in the final round, they can't use it in a sentence. So they were like, "We can't tell you." And I said, "Well, one is CORE," and they went, and I was like,
"Oh my
God, fucking!" And the other one is CORPS, and they didn't count.
You were smarter
that's a
than
conspiracy.
The people giving you the test.
Wait a second. First of all,
conspiracy.
That's
I say.
wrong because who's going to think of Marine Corps? You should just go with Apple Corps.
It was 7th grade. I don't know.
He was
I'm just saying when somebody says core and you're like, well, it's probably CORPS, but what if?
What if?
Like, what if it was CRE?
I lost
just trying to throw you.
I lost a spelling bee on the word lenient.
That's a hard one.
Not only that, but
LENEINT.
Yeah, but I thought.
But I mean, when you're in elementary school,
I was 6th grade, and afterward I cried, and I'm in the playground going LENIENT, LENIENT. You got to appreciate the irony, though.
I get it. Lenient, they were not being lenient.
Yeah.
No.
Right. The awesome part about this podcast is I know we're not going to run out of things to say because I'm in the middle of my credits over here.
Yeah.
And when I say middle, I mean exactly the middle because there's one more and it's just as pathetic as the first one.
Okay, sorry.
My second awesome credit is they were doing this question and answer with Kevin Smith. After they did the Clerks screening down at they had like the 10-year release video DVD, and they had a question and answer, and you can see me in the audience for a second on that DVD when they're asking the questions.
There you go. All right.
These are Brian's credits.
Those are my credits. I'm going to add these to my website when we're done here.
Yeah.
Are those on IMDb? Can we look them up? No,
I didn't put them on. Okay. I don't think people.
Where would one actually find that screening?
Actually, I have. It's like
Is it on the DVD?
Yeah, it says Clerks. There's a big X on it because it's the 10th anniversary.
Yeah.
That's
I wanted to get that one.
You can borrow mine.
You would see Brian.
No, I'll just pick it up.
You won't recognize me. I mean, if you're
totally
looking
different?
and you're going in slow motion, you might recognize me. But anyways,
I
don't have
one
credits.
of those kind of credits.
You got
too.
credits.
I was in a magazine in New York, looking bored in the audience at an open mic.
Just have her say.
Did the byline say like, audiences were bored, and you're like,
she nailed it. Yeah. Look at that, natural.
Give us a show.
Alrighty then.
Are we still
Brian's like, this is way off track. This is not what we planned.
No, it's fine.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I was actually, like I told you earlier, I know you guys didn't seem very excited about it, but it's about to get really exciting. I want to know what you guys believe in. Okay? Like, for instance.
Okay.
I know you're a man of very many thoughts, and I know you have your and I have a feeling that you just don't want to talk about it because
No, go ahead. What are you going to say?
No,
I'm curious as fuck where this sentence is
I feel like you might be like an atheist, and like you're worried that it's going to be like, I don't believe in anything.
No, I've just had a very rough week of
talking about what you believe in.
Yeah, like
whoa, who has a week like that?
It's very strange. I know. I was talking to my father, and yeah. We used to do a podcast, he and I, where he'd call and I'd record our Skype conversations, and he doesn't know how podcasts work, so he's never heard any of them. Mm-hmm. He knew we were recording. He knew it was a podcast and everything. He's not like senile. But he has a tendency to like guilt trip me about not calling him not for a podcast. And I'm just like, yeah, whatever. We were talking about various things, and he's talking about sports, and I'm like, I don't fucking pay attention to sports. I don't care about sports.
I don't either. I don't get it. Listen, if I bet on it, I love it.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah. But I just stopped. I was in every sport imaginable as a kid, but when he moved away, I just, my mom was working 3 jobs. Like, who's going to take me to... So I just stopped playing sports, and I just fell off the radar.
Is that when you turned into a goth kid?
Yeah, when I was like 11, I was like, all right,
time to go to the dark side.
Imagine. So what happened? Very shortly thereafter.
After that spelling bee.
My trivia, my sports trivia, because that was like my life as a child, is frozen in like 1989.
Like, everything from like...
Yeah.
You want to talk about 1989 baseball, fucking bring it on. But like 1991... I'd be like, is that a new guy? Like, I don't know anything about
I'm the same
sports.
way with rap music. Like, after 1995, maybe, I was just like, this is getting really stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe some of it's good now.
How do they stay angry is the question. The rappers,
they shouldn't be angry at anything.
Anymore? I felt like they were it's just a lot
they go from anger to hose. I think it's anger to hose.
I don't know. I heard,
that's what I heard.
I don't know. I just heard one the other day was a really successful rap guy. I'm like, what does he have left to be angry about? My pool guy won't come on time.
It's annoying.
So your dad was,
I do want to, we're going to get back to that because I have some thoughts on that.
Right.
So anyway, so he was like, what happened in 1989? And I was thinking like, do I really? And I was like, you left and like mom was going to take me to practice. So I just stopped playing sports. And he was like, oh, that's sad. And I was like, this is not a depressing conversation, whatever. So then at some point in the thing, he started talking about religion and blah, blah. And I was like, and I just gave my thoughts because he wanted to know what kind of atheist I was. So I was like, well, here's the best I can figure it based on science.
You brought it up on a podcast to him?
No, just on the phone.
Just on the phone, okay.
And at the end of the conversation, he said something about how he wouldn't. He wishes that I would give myself over to God or something.
Right.
And he said, but I'm not going to give up on you. And I said, I really wish you just would give up on me. And he said, you wish I'd give up on you? I said, yeah, I wish you'd give up on me. And I was going to say, my next words were going to be in regards to religion. I didn't get to say those words because he hung up on me.
Oh yeah.
Right. Which is like, we already have a weird relationship.
Obviously.
For him to hang up, he's never done that. And I was like, did I just break up with my dad? And I was really
have you talked to him since?
Yeah, I called him the next day. We had a normal conversation.
Okay.
I couldn't bring up that subject. I kept trying, and he'd immediately be like, so I'm watching this college game. And I'm just like, all right, are we just going to pretend that didn't happen? Or, I don't know. I have no idea. So it's between that and me trying to explain that conversation to a religious friend of mine. And he got into the conversation. I was like, please, let's not. Can we leave me alone?
All right, so I'm going to shoot for tears today.
Sorry, go ahead. I took a.
I don't want to do this podcast.
I'm already 90% of the podcast. So
I was crying.
I'm sorry.
Well, I was actually. It wasn't just about God. It was.
No,
about,
I know.
I was going to. Do you like believe? Let's start with aliens.
Okay.
Do you believe in aliens?
That's nice. That's a nice.
Well, that's
buffer.
I've always thought that was a weird question because it's like, do you believe there's a possibility that we're the only life? Is that what you're asking? Like, do you believe that there's life outside of our Earth?
I believe. I was just talking to a friend about this.
Or are you asking if I believe they've come here and like those aliens with the big black
That's
eyes?
pretty much. I don't know about the big black eyes, but do you think that there is another, as intelligent as human beings elsewhere?
Absolutely.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. It'd be absurd otherwise, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Well, there are
too much stuff.
There are. How many planets are there? Millions of planets, probably. Right?
Oh my God!
Trillions.
There's galaxies.
Trillions.
I hope
Trillions.
and pray that there are, just so that people like your dad could step down. The God, the male God with the penis in the sky talk.
Right.
So that's. I
always asked that question to him. Was like, did he do like a universal tour? Did he go around all the planets and go, I've got a son for you, and like.
Yeah, we've got
or did they figure it out the first time? How does that work?
We've got numerous gods on this planet.
Right, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we have probably hundreds here, right?
Yeah, more than that, man.
It's crazy.
It's all I really want to do is live long enough to see another planet for myself. Like in my own eyes, walk on and be like, I'm on fucking Mars.
Yeah.
I could die. I mean, that's cool, but I just want to see it.
I always watch the UFO shows just hoping like there'll be some compelling, irrefutable, and it just never quite gets there. And like, so it's really the same as Bigfoot.
I totally believe in aliens.
If there was a UFO show that was successful in convincing someone like us less of that, it would be on the news, not the UFO show.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you though. I remember. You remember those tabloids like Worldwide News?
Oh yeah. They'd be all over that.
So
stuff.
I remember being. I don't know, 10 or something, and I saw someone said aliens are landing. And I go, oh my God, aliens are coming. I'm gonna watch the news, and the news will tell me. Right, so I watched the news and wouldn't you know it, that the news story was about illegal aliens, and I thought for sure,
really illegal aliens.
I was like, oh, they're coming. Of course, nothing.
We're talking
happened,
to Brian, who's got the head of a slee stack up on his.
Yeah.
I would like to thank you for even knowing that is a slee stack. That's awesome right there. We'll get that in the show.
Doesn't it? Land of the Lost or something? What is that?
Yes, Land of the Lost.
I've never seen it. I know the term.
I saw that on TV Land, I think.
Yeah, I used to watch
Will
Croft
Ferrell was in
Superstars. Well, that was the new version. That was the remake.
I know.
Yeah, okay.
Land of the Lost.
So everyone believes that there are aliens out there. How many
Definitely.
people believe that they've been to Earth?
I think that they've stopped by.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you think
While
that?
we've been around, or just in general?
Curiosity.
Well, yeah, like the pyramids and stuff are weird, right? I mean, there's like a lot of weird.
Well, no, that's actually that's one of those things that there's so many of these weird myths that we have from like when we were 5 years old in kindergarten and such, where the teacher goes, nobody knows this, and you just stick with that. And you don't bother, like the other one about like we only use a third of our brain, which is like absolutely not true, but we keep repeating it. And like a cursory Googling would tell you no. Pyramids were made very simply by mixing it as you're building it.
I don't know if you don't need to like.
Well, I mean, it still takes forever. I'm not saying.
Yeah, but it's not like they had Twitter and all that to do during the day. So what are you going to do? You're going to build a pyramid.
The idea that like they were pushing, 18-ton rocks,
but that's not the
then carving them. That's not true.
They got strong Jews to pull them and push them and mix them. Yeah.
But there's more to that. Like
back when they had strong Jews,
the pyramids line up toward the North Star, and there's math involved. There's astrology involved.
Sure.
There's a lot of really sophisticated.
Hey,
things.
without light pollution, you could see a lot of crazy shit up there.
Yeah.
If you ever go camping. Or Nebraska.
I think that they stop by because, look, if you have a car, let's say, that could drive you someplace, you're going to be like, I'm going to stop by that big, crazy-looking cross. Like when you're driving cross country. That's what it's like, hey,
the biggest ball
look
of
at
rock.
that planet. Let's stop by. Oh, they're rude. Let's go.
Well, that seems like good logic. I guess they have been here.
Some people
if
think
they can, why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if they can though. That's another thing. If they're at the same level we're at, they definitely can.
No, I think they might be a little more advanced.
It's possible.
There's got to be somewhere. There's got to be one that is.
Yeah, I mean,
it would be
we
bad.
are not.
I guess it would be kind of sad if we were like the top of the food chain of
I
the
don't think we are.
entire
It's the
universe.
It's the line from Contact where the little girl goes, "Do you think there's other life in space?" And he goes, "Well, if there's not, it sure is a waste of space. Immense waste of space."
Yeah.
Carl Sagan.
We're very small
was that a line
compared to
from him?
other stuff.
Well, no, Carl Sagan wrote that.
Oh, did he?
That was his movie, kind of.
You were talking.
I watched that movie when I was on acid once.
I never saw it.
And I was fucking blown the fuck away.
Yeah, just take a hit of acid. You'll know there's other life forms out there.
Yeah.
You were talking
very
about
transcendental.
You were talking about how teachers like embed things in your head and you believe it. Like I remember when I was in class, they're like, "Yes, man could not have made Stonehenge." Like it was just like,
yeah, that's another one that like they've debunked. You could look it up. I don't know the story.
But I wonder how many of these things that couldn't be made man-made were just accidents. And they're like, oh, look at that. That looks like something cool. We're going to call it the Stonehenge. I mean, how many times have you dropped something like, oh, it looks so pretty shattered?
Hey, Archimedes, come here. I noticed that your pyramid faces the North Star. Lucky.
Whoa!
Let's make some drawings to commemorate this hilarious joke.
You're good. We don't know.
No, I'm with you.
I mean, it could have just been like, hey, you fucked up that thing. Well, you know what? Don't tell anybody. Let's just call it.
Originally, it was going to be a skyscraper, and they just ran out of bricks.
Yeah, you're like,
well, like, fuck it. Let's just.
I told you to order more. And then all of a sudden it's
guys checking his blueprints. God damn it.
I was on a date with a girl recently who was talking about she had a friend who was convinced she'd been abducted by aliens and all this. And I've done I've done some research on alien abduction theories and things like this, and I was kind of fascinated by it. And I was like, why does she think and whatever? And she got to a point where she did one of those things where somebody gives you let's suppose it's a fact. Somebody gives you a line of argument that there's just no way to refute because it's entirely what's the word I'm looking for?
It's just impossible to debunk.
So she says, well, she has things embedded in her leg that weren't put there by doctors.
What?
Which is already, I'm like, she goes, seriously, it's magnetic. You can hold a pen up to her leg and it'll stay.
Did you do it?
I didn't meet the girl. I was on a date with her friend, you see.
Well, now you have to date her until you meet the friend.
Yeah, so she was talking about her friend, and I'm going like, I can't go, that's not true. what do you say? So you have to be like, So at some point she started talking about ghosts, and I was like, well, that's just horseshit. And she goes, no. Look, aliens, I'm iffy, but ghosts are definitely real. And I was like, well, this is the end of this date.
That was a good segue because that's our next thing.
All right, yeah.
Okay, you have to keep dating her
we get to Bigfoot
meet
too?
her friend to put a pen up to her leg.
All right, I'll.
You have to.
Yeah, and
It's been months now. It'd be awkward to call her. Hey,
you could stick notes on her like the refrigerator, put the magnet there, and just gotta get milk.
I want to get magnets implanted for that reason.
Put the entire agenda of your date for that night.
These aliens, they're so annoying. They leave things in your legs. I mean, really, get a probe at least.
Probe.
No, but it's more useful to have magnets than a probe, right?
But on your legs? What are you gonna hang on your legs?
Well, if you needed hold on, I have a pen. You know,
this is true.
If it's on your finger, you're using these. That's kind
true.
of
That is true.
She's probably not the only person on the entire planet that has these magnets in her legs. And if she ever needs to do like a potato sack race or something, she could find the other one, and you're just right on there.
Very
stuck.
handy. Yeah. She could be the potato sack champion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or the what is it when you tie your legs together and run?
Yeah, the three-legged race.
Three-legged race. I knew it was one of those fun games.
Get that in the Olympics.
So I know Mitch doesn't believe in the ghosts from that last little story.
Sorry.
Have you had any encounters with ghosts, Roll? I think if anyone here has, it would be you for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, I believe in ghosts, but I also have some weird I used to hang out with some weird freaky people. So I was just saying, when we're up in the Ventura thing, I was talking to, I'm blanking.
Karen Monkowski?
Yes, Karen. I was saying that we used to mess around with Ouija boards all the time.
I have some funny Ouija board stories.
Yeah, I know everybody has a funny one, but I was saying that we went to this burnt down hotel and there was this weird guy there. It was creepy. It was really creepy. But I believe some people are left around. Oh, and on the Queen Mary, it was weird. It was creepy.
Yeah, let's be fair. You could play jacks in a burnt out hotel with a creepy guy and it would still be like.
That's true. He was in a raincoat though. It was weird. I don't know. I believe in all that stuff just because I'm like, why not? I don't know. I'm not really
But you haven't encountered a ghost. You haven't seen anything.
Have I ever seen anything? Let me think. I don't know. I feel like I have.
I was sitting on the couch or on the bed, and I had my eyes closed. Okay, I meditate. All right, I'll say it. I meditate. So I'm meditating.
I don't know why you look at me like I'm going to attack you.
It's just like, I don't believe in ghosts or meditation.
Just get off my case, all you.
How often do you meditate?
Every single day.
Yes,
how long do you meditate every single day?
30 minutes to an hour.
Jesus.
You haven't missed a day in how long?
In 11 years.
11 years, you've meditated for at least a half hour every day.
I've had to do it sitting in bathtubs. I've had to do it at 3 in the morning. I've had every conceivable scenario. But that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is that I was sitting on the bed, and she sits next to me a lot of the time when I'm meditating, and I felt her get down next to me, and I assumed she was there, and I opened my eyes and she wasn't there. Like, I felt the depression on the bed, and then all the fucking hairs stood up and like electrically. Don't know what it was. I don't know if that's a ghost or an energy or a presence. I didn't see anything, but I felt, you can feel when somebody walks past you. I felt that.
I have a suggestion for you.
Yeah.
Tempur-Pedic.
Where the foam impression of the ghost is there. See, take a picture. God,
if her sleep number was a little bit lower.
Also, if you have a Tempur-Pedic bed, you won't feel it. It won't scare you next time.
So you could bounce a bowling ball.
Yeah, you can have a glass of wine next to you.
So you could just have ghosts jumping around you. You won't even know. I don't know. I think you should know about it.
How many people get their Tempur-Pedic home and set a glass of wine on it?
And a bowling ball.
Yeah. And go, let's try this.
It happens,
probably.
Naturally.
I would imagine, right?
Yeah,
and
you gotta test these
now
things
there's stains
out.
on our Tempur-Pedic.
Well, what if the glass of wine drops and then you're gonna have a messy bed? I mean, you can't get wine out of a Tempur-Pedic.
I guess
they should give you your money back if it doesn't pass the wine test.
That's true.
That's what the commercial showed.
I'm just glad that that's what we got out of my ghost story, because I was really hoping for some
help.
help.
I could tell you what happened, but it would ruin. I don't want to. I'm not here to ruin your day. But I could tell you what happened.
Okay,
I'd like to know your theory.
It's scientifically. It's the same reason why you'll be for sure that you're getting a phone call. This happens all the time today, where you're for sure you're getting a phone call because you feel your leg vibrating and your phone's like on the table.
I always feel my leg vibrating.
Yeah, you're used to feeling that sensation.
It's true, actually.
Your brain will fuck with you. Your brain is the only part of your body that named itself. So your brain, the being that it's such an asshole. It's it controls everything that goes on in your whole, and there's no way to tell it it's wrong. So it'll come up with shit. It's like, this is usually the time that she would sit down, and your brain will go through all the motions, even if it hasn't happened, and can make you feel shit and think stuff. And I'm trying to think of another example of this, but the cell phone one's a very common. That's what everybody can relate to. But
I can relate to that one.
There's a term for it. I don't know, but that's what happened.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Well, we have a scientific that's not the Mike's Lemonade talking, right? No,
that's
science.
Half of a Mike's Lemonade would not.
Okay.
No, I mean, you could look it up. It's a weird, fucked up thing where your brain will
make
sort
expectations
of
come true.
Yeah. It's the same kind of thing. If you could keep your eyes completely still and stare at a point on the wall, everything around you will disappear because your brain's like, well, that's not important. Yeah. And then somebody could be standing right there and you wouldn't see them.
Mitch Jabroni, making people lose faith since 1975.
I'm sorry.
Debbie
I don't mean to,
Downer.
it's like, I know it's way more exciting. It's way more exciting to
Jason
not
had
think
a
that. That's why I was like, I
story.
wasn't going to do that.
Wah.
I'm sorry.
So, have you had anything happen in your life where you're like, wait a minute, now that was weird. I don't know how to explain that one.
Absolutely.
Like what?
I'm not saying everything's
think of
explainable. Yeah. Well, when I lived in Seattle, I lived in the only gray house.
Right.
On a pastel neighborhood. And I lived.
Does that surprise you?
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Well, not like as a kid, like as an
And
adult.
there was a rain cloud over that house, and that was it.
He's like, of course, right? He's like, of course, I forgot to mention I painted it that color.
It was. I wasn't even there. I wasn't there when they picked it up.
The grass would not grow.
Do you want the blue, the peach, the green? Give me the gray one.
There was a dead cat on the porch. I knew it was mine.
This is all like a setup for the next factoid, as I also lived in the attic.
Whose house was it?
These people I lived with.
Were there flowers in that attic?
Just me. I was the flower.
That's where black roses are made. So what happened?
Did a ghost touch you?
It had like these.
Now we've gotten to the bottom of it.
The ghost straight up jacked me off. I was like,
no, don't touch me there.
I was like, where do I put the tip? Do I tip for this service or do I just hope?
Mitch is like, scientifically, that had to just be a wet dream.
Yeah. We can talk about wet dreams. But the ceiling of the room was like cut off halfway. It was slanted, so I could only walk about 3 feet into the room before I had to like turn into a hunchback.
Right.
I didn't live in that room very long. Like
Did
6
you have
months.
a bell you could ring?
Yeah, right.
I'm awake. Bring me my food.
The thing in the attic is awakening.
The Hunchback of Seattle is up.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I had no door to my room, but I had a door to my fucking expansive closet that also had the ceiling would just start drooping down.
Right.
So it was just blackness in there. And I remember thinking of that line from Goonies where it was like, God put that rock there for a reason.
Yeah.
Maybe you shouldn't move it.
Yeah,
and I was like, I really want a door on my bedroom. But I don't need one on the closet. But I also don't like this big black area of the closet that has no light. It was just scary as fuck. And there was no doorknobs. I put duct tape over where the doorknob hole would be, and I had a latch that I put up. And many, many times in the middle of the night.
What was your rent like in this place?
Well, that's a long story. I don't want to go into all
feng
this.
shui disaster.
The point is, yeah, I know. It was an everything.
I don't want to
disaster.
go into that.
So every once in a while, the latch would, like, in the middle of the night, jump out of the loop, and the door would slam against the wall, and then close again, and then re-latch. And I was just like, some fucking weird wind in Seattle.
Yeah.
That's about the way. I mean, look, I have no idea.
Oh, wait a second.
All I'm saying
Unlatching
is that, like,
wind? I don't buy it.
Unlatching wind in
It's
the
weird.
gray house of the attic.
I'm not saying there's an explanation. I'm just saying that, like,
Sounds like you had a boogeyman.
You lived in the Winchester
I feel like,
house.
I guess my only issue when it comes to like beliefs and stuff like that is like, it's fine to go, I don't really know. Maybe it's this, maybe it's that. Where I get upset is well, I don't know. So here's a harebrained theory. And I'll be offended if you don't come along with me on that ride. That's where I get offended.
I'm in the same boat. I'm not atheist. I'm agnostic, I would say. Jewish by tradition, but
which is like already agnostic. Which is like already very close to agnostic.
I have no idea what's out there. I don't know if there's a higher power. But when it comes to like things like that, I'm like, I want proof.
Right.
I need proof. I'm not going to be like.
Show yourself.
Ro is like, well, I figure you can believe or you can't believe, so I'm going to believe.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, it's fine.
I think weird shit happens.
It does happen.
And I think that there's a bunch of shit in the air.
Have you ever experienced anything like supernatural or just stories?
Right. I don't know. Like,
I remember your friend Gail was talking about the Comedy Store one time, how she
well,
was
I don't
things
know.
were
Here's
flying
the thing.
around.
Maybe it's like, yeah, you hear a lot of stuff. I've heard a lot of stuff about, but you just feel like this is creepy.
Yeah,
I think somebody's died here. You know, like I've been in, but it wasn't just that. It's like I've been in different also I used to hang out with some fucked up people. So basically,
why did you hang out with fucked up people, and who were they? What did they do that made them fucked up?
Oh, they were just always on drugs. I mean, and I just would be like, let's go along for the ride. So that meant we ended up tripping on acid, driving to, someplace in Long Island.
So you were one of the people on drugs. You were just hanging out with them. You were one of them.
Yeah, I'd do it. But once I got
Other
to coke,
people like me.
Yeah, well, they started doing coke, and I'm like, that is too expensive.
That's where I draw the line.
I was like, this is ridiculous.
I'm not doing coke because it's too expensive.
Yeah, I was like, wait, how much do you want? No, excuse me, no,
right.
I'm done with this. Thank you.
Right.
Acid will make you spoiled for drugs because like $5 in 10 hours.
That's what I'm saying.
And they're like, here's Coke, it's $50 in the last 10 minutes.
No,
I'm having a hard time.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
That's
I've
what
never
it was,
done either of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't suggest.
Then you're not
but
qualified
we
to talk about ghosts, Brian.
Yeah, exactly. When you
At
trip
least
on
not the
some
ones they're
acid,
seeing.
you see some shit.
So
I'll tell you that.
check this out. Sorry to barge in. I did I was an extra for this thing they were filming at the Dianetics Castle, which is out by Hemet.
Creepy.
And
That's the Scientologist,
It's
right?
a Scientologist, and they own. I thought it was a golf course at first. It's their property. And it's a castle, literally a castle. And I walked in.
I used to live next to the Scientology Celebrity Center,
so, you know
I know.
Yeah. And you
That's
walk
not
in.
that one. Is that the one you're talking
It's out by Hemet. It's their whatever.
No, it's not the same one. Sorry,
Sand something.
They also have that castle.
San
That's what I
Jacinto.
was thinking, yeah.
So I walk in, and there are actors asleep on the couches. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck have I walked into?
Like famous
did they
actors
drink
like
the-
John Travolta and Tom Cruise?
Other no-name actors like myself.
Oh,
Brian.
okay.
They were on luck, and it got canceled. And so
They all ended up at the Scientology.
Dead horses.
Is that where I can find Dustin Hoffman?
That's where he is. That's where all the dead
All right.
horses are. The dead horses ghosts.
God damn it.
So we walk in, and they have there is a full-time production house where all day, every day, Monday through Friday, they film shit to promote Scientology here, and all the countries are on the wall where they are going out, and a director and we're talking like 15 people on the crew.
A whole propaganda team.
It's a whole full-time propaganda thing.
Yeah.
So, we're talking about religion and organized religion, and
That's
how
creepy.
It got creepy for me.
That's very creepy.
When I lived next to the Scientology Celebrity Center on Bronson.
Yeah.
It was the first apartment I had in Hollywood, and we were the only complex left they hadn't bought.
Yeah.
And they did eventually buy us. But I remember the amount of time, like every time they had an event, they would send people to like knock on my door every day of the week and be like, "You sure you don't want to come? It's going to be really, really fucking loud. You won't be comfortable in your home."
Do you ever go door to door trying to convince people to give up their beliefs and become atheistic?
Hey, that's all horseshit on the wall there.
Here's a pamphlet.
No, they were basically like, because my apartment, like my bedroom window, saw the top levels of that. So I got worried that Tom Cruise watched me sleep. But when he gave his famous speech, that fucking crazy ass speech, I could see him give that speech from my bed. Yeah. I was looking at the back of his head. But, so like they really didn't want me there.
Yeah.
'Cause it's like, what if I had a gun? Or whatever. 'Cause like it wouldn't be illegal for me to have a gun in my home. It would be illegal to shoot one from, but they couldn't put security inside of my apartment. So like they clearly wanted us
Mitch
gone.
just thought this through.
But the
That's the scary
crazy
thing.
shit of like the crazy shit that I saw, they bought the complex across the street and they moved all the personal effects and all the people, like their recruits, into all these rooms, and they put all their personal effects down into the parking garage, and every weekend they'd have a garage sale and sell off their shit. And after a while, you'd see every single room get remade to look exactly the same: white curtains and white walls and one bed and then a coffee table and a desk. And you'd see them single file every morning, go over to the Scientology Celebrity Center, and then around 6 or 7 at night, they'd single file right back into their dorms. And you'd see interventions and shit. You'd see people go in there, like 3 guys in suits, hold a girl down to a bed and scream at her, and then leave her tied up, and then leave and come back a few hours later, untie her, and then they'd leave.
What?
Crazy shit.
Modern day cults.
Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's
Crazy,
insane.
dude.
That
I
is
can't believe all that.
crazy.
Now, if back then it was so easy to just record it and hit a button to upload it to YouTube, I mean, everybody'd know. But at the time, I was just like, I can't believe what I'm seeing. Where's my camera? And then couldn't get it in time to like get the framing right. It was very quick. It would be like a 30-second thing before they close the curtains.
Tom Cruise would come into your house on a rope and just hover on the ground.
Mission Impossible style.
Everything would
I don't want to
disappear.
chance it.
What about vampires? You guys believe in vampires?
No.
I think Abraham Lincoln was a vampire.
Really?
I think he killed vampires.
Oh, was he the killer?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
You didn't see the movie.
I
God, thanks for ruining it, guys.
God, again.
I was gonna go see see it.
Good.
I thought I had a good joke.
I'm sorry.
Something
I just got it. Damn it.
Okay, so nobody
it
has...
wasn't a very good joke.
Sorry.
Nobody in this room officially has any alien or ghost stories from their own...
You know, I thought I
just
saw a
gave
UFO
you one.
one.
It was dispelled by Mitch promptly.
Yeah. You know what? I
Look,
would tell you
all
that
the
I
crazy
thought
shit
I
in Seattle,
saw.
it
I
was.
thought I saw a UFO, but then Mitch is going to tell me it was a blimp.
It was
I can't tell you what you saw.
It was a weather
I can
balloon.
give you an explanation when you said I have no explanation. I gave you an explanation.
A possibility.
I'm not saying the
Yes.
explanation.
And here's
an
another
explanation.
Here's another one.
Just in case everybody at home is like, that Mitch guy's a real asshole, telling everybody that their beliefs are wrong.
Did you guys ever do the Hollywood hotel room with Bill Devlin, that kind of in the cellar thing? Did you ever do that?
Yeah, it used to be the yeah.
The Ramon or the
Yes, the Ramon.
What was it, like a haunted house that you paid for?
It's
it's
in a hotel that has weird
It's on Vermont
shit.
or something.
Yeah.
Is it on Vermont?
Like
yeah.
it's known for being like just a haunted place. And I went in there with going, oh, give me a break. I had total that attitude. And then I went around the corner to get quiet. Everyone's talking and stuff. I went to put my set list together, and I opened this door, and it was that same feeling, all electricity and all that creepy. And I came back in like scared for no reason. I didn't see anything, but I felt something.
Yeah.
Felt something creepy.
Yeah.
You should have meditated in that room. See what
That's
happens.
the place to do it.
Do you guys believe in cats with faces pushed in? Because I do.
They're
I'm looking at
adorable.
it. So cute. Sorry.
That's okay.
I was
She's
when
hard
I
to-
was a kid. My father had a few of these like old folk because he's from New Orleans, where it's like voodoo and
The
stuff
Shadow
like that.
Man.
You know what I mean? And he's got old school Italian family and stuff, much like yours. And so he had all these like folklore ghost story kind of things he would tell me.
Yeah.
And I think it's like fucked me up for life because I still will like make up things in my head that are happening when I go to put my key in the door. Immediately I'm like, there's like 10 people chasing me, and I like try to time how quickly. He had one when I was a kid that he used to tell me about that was local to New Orleans. So I guess I was in Phoenix, but I still worried about it. Where it was like, if you're walking down the street at night and you're all alone and you suddenly hear a second set of footsteps, it's this, he had a name for it. Everything had a fucking name. And it was like, if you turn around, you die. But if you just keep walking, it will stay exactly 10 feet behind you.
It's like Compton.
Like even if you run, it's 10 feet behind you.
I used to have this weird thing in my mind, and this was not, how like kids will get things in their mind implanted by adults or TV or whatever.
Sure.
This was implanted in my mind by myself. For some reason, I thought in my mind that there was 3 monsters behind me, and they slowly come towards you, and when they reach you, you die. And if you do it, if you turn, I was very young, so this doesn't make any sense. But if you turn around like this and you pretend that you look at them, they'll disappear for another 100 years, and they'll take another 100 years to get to you. So I would be like, I created this in my mind.
So that it'd be very easy to defeat them.
Yeah.
You just do that once. And you're
all
like,
you gotta
wow,
do is
I'm
think
good.
about it every century or so, and you're fine.
Those aren't very.
In 100 years, you'll find out whether or not it was true.
They're like, Brian, we're back.
Well, I still
that was some bullshit.
I still do it, so I'll never die. It's like I keep every once in a while. I just did it right now. Actually,
Maybe like when you're in the theater and you're being too loud, and someone kind of looks over their shoulder. Maybe that's what they're trying to do.
I am cursed in movie theaters, and when you do that to somebody, they don't even acknowledge that you're looking at them. They're just like, I'm gonna keep talking.
Yeah, it's the half look though, just to let you know they want to look, but they don't really have the guts to make eye contact. Looking at their own.
I'm
shoulder.
usually that dude that's actually just turning around.
Yeah.
I'm not usually the one talking.
That
Do you
does
talk
not
in the movie
surprise
theaters,
me.
Jason?
No, I'm quiet because.
Then how do you know people are turning around to look at you?
No, I said if it were me, I would. Of course, it wouldn't be me.
Yeah, I hate when people
with
talk
my
in the
with
theater.
my
Of course
etiquette. No,
You might not want to drink that water anymore.
My cat does that too.
Yeah, ditto.
My cat does that too.
Do you feel like there's no problem just drinking it? Because I'll drink it anyway.
I drink. It's fine. Where's that cat been? Come on.
Yeah.
It hasn't been
on.
anywhere, but she has like this thing where her eyes and her nose leak constantly
She's
because
got
of her
an-
sinus
she's
problems.
whatever.
got an
it's a
inverted
cat.
nose.
Look,
She's got a sinus problem.
I'm
man.
sure the people in this room where you've put your face before is not as bad.
That's probably
not
true.
as bad.
This is the
Definitely
most
true.
adorable cat I've
It
ever
really
seen.
is.
Now
It really
I
is.
vote.
As a cat owner, I'm gonna say your cat is super freaking cute.
Yeah, she is cute.
I mean, this should be
As
in commercials.
a cat parent, I can't get on board with that out of respect for my cat.
I'm a cat parent
but
too.
it is a very
mine are
adorable cat.
Mine are so cute. I Twitter them every day. But this one,
This cat just wants to be loved.
he's
too.
special.
Yeah, it's,
He's special.
It's a she. They don't actually
She's
make.
special.
They don't make male calico Persians.
They don't make them.
They don't make
They
them.
discontinued that.
They don't come out.
Model.
I have a calico and I have a long-haired cat. If you put them together, you'd have this cat.
I don't know about that.
I do like when she
It would have
closes
a- it would
one
have a
eye
nose.
and gets all
Well,
piratey.
yeah.
Yeah.
Arr. She's like, ah.
But my calico opens cabinets.
This cat can open my door if it's already open.
Wow.
My bedroom door, but yeah.
Like shove it with her head?
Yeah, she'll hit it with her paw and then just sneak through.
She unlatches the hook and then closes
No,
it.
she's not that. That's not happening.
Damn it! I was gonna say, like, when I was in Seattle, like, a lot of crazy shit happened in that room. It used to freak me out. And I have a weird sort of thing, like, if I think about unexplained scary shit like that for too long, my eyes will uncontrollably water. So I'm not telling any such stories today because I don't want to deal with
Cry.
that.
I don't believe you.
I swear to God, like if I were just to go into them, then my eyes would water uncontrollably and I'd be wildly.
You could call it crying, Mitch. We won't judge you.
Maybe
because it's like, you know, when you cry, like your face will get red.
Because you don't have a God. You don't have a God.
And you're doing like this kind of thing. It's not like that. It's like I'm talking exactly like I am now. Just my eyes are going like, "Hey, we're gonna fucking start the waterworks for no reason."
All right, so let me get this straight.
You cry because of Jesus. You don't believe in Jesus.
That might be it.
Something happened.
Crying for Jesus.
Something happened in the gray house in the attic in Seattle
Sounds
that
like
if you were to talk about would get you very emotional right now.
No, it's not even emotional.
You were touched
it's
by a
ghost. Weird. I mean, maybe it is. I guess it has to be emotional, but it's
is
like
emotional.
all it is just that I get a little bit cold and my eyes will start watering. It's just how it is.
You were molested in the attic
That's been
by
that
a
way for since it happened.
It's like Harry Potter. He's got this.
I'm serious. Like my friend, I have a friend in Phoenix who has made me tell the story.
Can we make you tell the story?
No, like at small parties, I'll do it.
Small parties you'll do it, but you won't do it on Comedy Bone Podcast?
All right, I'll see if I can do it. It's been a while since I told the story, so I don't know if it'll necessarily work. All right, so I'll see what I can do. Okay, so that latch thing I told you about, that would happen a lot. Now, living in Phoenix that I did as a kid, like you watch those horror movies and you'd hear like, woo, and the parents would be like, it's just the wind. And I was always like, the wind doesn't fucking sound like that. Went to Seattle, the wind sounds like that. Yeah. The wind very much sounds like that when you live in an attic and you have shutters that fucking clang.
I've heard the wind do things like that actually at my old house.
It totally sounded like that. It was totally like, woo! And I was just like, this is fucking cheeseball. But I'd never seen it before. I couldn't get the windows to just not move. Right. Like, it was impossible. We lived next to the freeway. So yeah, there's a lot of wind. I couldn't get the damn things to close. That to me is the door thing. And so between the blackness of night that was my closet, living in a all wooden attic,
in a gray house.
In a gray house.
With a dark cloud.
Gray and black.
A rainy cloud.
The window trims were black and the house itself was like gray and falling apart.
Mitch, did Santa Claus visit your house?
He skipped it.
Oh.
Damn it!
He didn't even need to know whether
Rub
it was
it
naughty
in,
or
why
not.
don't you, Jesus?
No Easter bunny for us.
I don't want to stop this story. I want to keep going, but I do have a question. Like, have you ever told this story on riffin.net?
No.
Awesome. This is an exclusive. Go ahead.
No. And I'm just going to tell you right now, it's quite possible that it won't happen because it's been a while since I told this story. So okay, between the clacking of the fucking door and I've had since I was a kid, I've had this thing where every once in a while, it happens like maybe once a year, it'll feel like somebody grabs my legs and just pulls me really hard. You ever have that? Where you wake up and you feel like you've just been shifted 4 feet, but you haven't?
I haven't.
That would be scary.
Okay. That would be a ghost.
Okay.
You're the guy trying to tell me there's no such thing as anything.
I'm just...
You're being pulled across the fucking floor.
I thought it was growing pains. I don't know. Because like in high school, I grew like a little over a foot in 3 years. So like I was pretty sure that could very well be what felt like the pulling. Anywho, so this was a night where the fucking door was doing that a shitload. The fucking closet thing was just, and then we had rats in the wall. So this is just all the elements.
House.
This is all the elements of just like, I'm uncomfortable and I'm cold and it's been, in Seattle it rains for like 8 months. And so it'd been raining solid for fucking 3-4 months.
I hope the rent was like negative $50 a month.
Yeah. Hadn't
they
seen
paid
the
you to stay there.
Yeah, right? Again, I'll go into that.
Okay.
I don't want to go into that. It's just silly. It's another thing. And so clacking windows, fucking door that would unlatch itself and fucking swing open no matter what I did. Ooh. That after a while, I was just like, fine, I'll just leave it open. But my view out my door from my bed was just stairs into darkness. That went, and then curved around and then went all the way down to the first floor.
Dante's Inferno.
Fucking, yeah. So all I saw was just darkness and occasionally, the first step maybe. And it was just darkness after that. You wouldn't see anything.
Did you have a lamp?
And, well, not when I'm sleeping. So I'm just sleeping and I'm staring and this door is like, unlatched.
Wow.
And I'm like, I fucking hate this shit. And I'm looking out the window and the wind's making the fucking noise and the fucking closet's just being a closet and the fucking rats every once in a while and like slam into the wall space between the walls, like right behind my head. And I was just like, I'm just wildly uncomfortable.
Right.
And I feel like I just started seeing things, just like something walk up the stairs and pull my door closed, and then it would open and then it would just go away. But it wasn't like I actually saw that. I think I just started sort of imagining that I saw this. And I'm falling asleep, and I finally get to bed, and I'm woken up by one of those jolting things. Mm-hmm. But now, it's just quiet. There's no wind. There's no clacking. No door moving.
No excuses.
Nothing. The door is wide open. And the door is just wide open, and I'm thinking, like, I should really get up and just fucking latch that and put a fucking bunch of books in front of it, or something like that. And I'm still convinced that I made this up. Like, I'm still convinced this is just
what
because
happened?
I'm very, like, I have an active imagination when I'm, like, kind of spooked out. That I'm like, what could make this scarier? So I was thinking that, and I heard, don't get up. And I was like right next to my ear. Nothing around me. And I'm going, that's probably my next roommate's room. I was like, okay. I'm just not going to get up because and then I was like, no, that's just silly. That's ridiculous. I'm getting up. So I get up and I close the door and I put books in front of him, and then I laid down and I heard, how can you help me now? And I just closed my eyes and I woke up and never said anything to my roommates. And then one night, my roommate, we were sitting down in the living room just before bed, and he goes, I had the weirdest thing the other night. Something whispered, can you help me? And I was like, I'm moving out of the attic now. If anyone wants to swap with me, like, I'm cool. And that was that. So.
And you cried just like you said you would.
Little bit. Not much. It's not as bad now. Cause it's
Atheist Ghost Stories with Reverend Mitch.
Yeah.
Mitch, there you go. So I'm convinced that's very much that I thought to myself, like, well, I could make this freakier, and or my fucking roommates, walls were paper thin. The walls that you would have in an attic are paper thin. Yeah. He could very well have just been fucking with me. It also could very well have been his girlfriend saying, don't get up, like, I'm cold, it's the winter.
I don't think so. I think it was some
you can think
spirit.
I'm just saying,
that you're like if Tim Burton and Jeff Goldblum had a baby, it would be you.
Yeah.
Man. I'll take that.
It's a good thing.
If you had a pet, it'd be Frankie Wiener.
No, you're very smart about it. You're very analytical, and at the same time, you've got this, Tim Burton-y kind of.
Well, I like dark shit. I mean, I love dark and
I didn't want to say dark, but okay.
No, I do.
Embrace it.
You should see my apartment. It's like a lot of like skulls and things. My bedroom, I put those red rope lights up. That's like the only light in my room. I have blackout curtains. So it's like,
are you trying to recreate the attic there?
Yeah. I dig like dark and evil atmospheres. I dig like devil stuff and all that. I've always been into that. So
plus the chicks love it.
The chicks dig it.
You want to share blood?
Yeah, no,
not so much.
Wait, your friend has
I'm very paranoid
magnets in their leg. Come to my bedroom.
Yeah.
Darkness.
We went to the Halloween Fest or the Fright Fest at Magic Mountain. Have you ever been there?
Oh yeah, I've been Queen Mary.
You would dig it. It'd be like an orgy for you. People jump out randomly from and bang
I've
shit.
been to the one. I've been to the one at Not Scary Farm.
We used to go there all the time.
I've held my record strong. 4 years. I've gone 4 different times in 4 different years, rather, and not once have I jumped.
Oh my god, I ran screaming.
I have not. I've not jumped. And
perfect record for that.
I'll tell you, people are like, Ro, you never get scared. I'm like, I used to date crack dealers. You think a guy in a mask is gonna scare me? No, that looks like guys I've dated.
And at Knott's Berry Farm, it is real ghetto. When they jump out with a knife, you're like, wait, they hired you, right? Okay,
yeah.
Oh yeah, we used to go every year.
Ghetto vibe to that place.
We used to go every year until it was like primarily cholos. Like then we were like, okay, that's enough Scary Farm.
I've been to Knott's during the day. It should not be open during the day. It's faded. It's faded and it's ghetto.
You do get the vibe that it's like just a bunch of drunk 20-year-olds running that place. Like
that's what it is, pretty much.
Yeah,
Carnies.
yeah.
Like you ever actually like when you watch they do those little stage shows, you watch them and you go, this material is not. I mean, not that I'm a censor, but this is not appropriate for children.
Yeah.
Either they're not going to get these jokes, or if they do, like you got some splaining to do.
Yeah.
The jokes on like what? Like where do they?
There was a weird one they had with like Freddie Krueger, and he made a number of finger fuck jokes while he was up there.
Jesus.
Well, not like he didn't say I'm going to finger fuck you, but he was like, come over here, and the girl was like, that's a bit sharp for me, and he's like, I'll be gentle with it.
Wow.
And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And she kind of does it, and I'm just going like...
I think the Scary Farm is 18 and up. Like once it's like after
is
16.
it? Yeah. I don't think you bring kids.
Well, then show me some titties.
That's rated R, right?
Yeah, like, look, as soon as it's for adults, I want to see some titties.
Naked zombie bitches.
Yeah. It's like I get upset, I go to fetish clubs, and they have to put electric tape over nipples. And you're just like... I had to be 21 to get in here. I've seen a nipple. Let me see some nipple.
Why would they? Because they're serving liquor.
There's probably laws. Like if he was an undercover marshal and went in there and saw the nipple, they can be accountable if it's a law, which I'm sure it is, right?
No nipples.
Does a nipple hurt people?
You can't be all nude and serve liquor. You can't be all nude.
Yeah, you can't be all nude and serve liquor. You can be topless.
You can be topless and serve liquor.
It's just weird.
They have weird rules.
They're just trying to control the damage that nipples cause.
Yeah.
Across the country.
Just if you want to see nipples,
They've
go to
ruined
Hollywood.
my life, that's
go
for
to
sure.
Hollywood on a Saturday night. Nipples are everywhere.
Yeah.
Like,
I
tuck
live on
them
Hollywood.
in.
Okay, I held my pee through Mitch's story, but now I gotta go.
Okay,
Yeah, go for
now
it.
I'm afraid to go.
We only have like 10 minutes left anyway, so we'll just...
I can
Oh,
hold
no,
it.
you can go, though.
All right, cool.
Yeah, go for it.
How could this conversation possibly
It's
survive?
probably terribly
without me?
boring. I'm
We'll
sorry.
think of something to
In a
surprise you with when you return. We'll have something really juicy for you.
I did
We're
want to
gonna
talk about
ask-
that rap thing.
We're going to ask you about your childhood when you come back.
Brian, you don't have any kind of other than the Three Monsters thing?
I had one time I was taking a leave because I had a cold or something, and it said take one every 8 hours, but I didn't read the bottle, and I thought it was like Tylenol, you take 2 every 4 hours. So I was doing that for like 2 days.
Is that what you're supposed to do?
On a leave, yeah, it's 1 every 8 hours.
All right, okay.
But people still take more, but this was 2 every 4 hours.
I don't even do that. I take 2 like a day.
And I was in bed, and I had a smoke detector on the wall right there, like just like on the wall, and it had a little red light on it, like, and I was just going to sleep, and I remember looking at it, and literally the thing turned into a little one-eyed monster. Like it was like obviously this is from the drugs. It's not like it happened.
Yeah.
But I was like looking at it, and I was like,
because he's never done acid. That's why.
I haven't done
Yeah.
acid.
I was
You
gonna
gotta do that.
That was my acid.
Yeah.
A leave overdose.
leave.
Yeah, this is good.
So yeah, it turned into like a little. What else has happened? No, nothing. Yeah, that's why I don't believe
That's the
in
thing
anything.
is, like, in Phoenix, nothing, I was extremely like, it's all just whatever. And, it wasn't until Seattle would the overdose of
a lot
imagery.
of stuff
And I was like,
happens.
I don't know, 90-year-old house.
What was the other
I don't know.
questions
It's
you're going to
weird,
ask
but
us
yeah.
if we believe in? You had a
Yeah.
bunch of them.
I have a funny Ouija board story.
Oh, okay.
Because you brought up Ouija boards earlier.
Yeah.
My friend John was so gullible that we decided to be the Ouija board. We would control the Ouija board. We made him think this was one of the first times
the skeptic in me has to point out that you always control the Ouija board. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, we did, but we were really controlling
right.
Are you moving
But, I
it?
mean,
Are
you're
you
always-
pushing it?
you're
Are you
always
pushing
really-
it? I'm not
But okay, no,
pushing
it's
it.
good.
My brother, the story started out with my brother doing that to me. And then I believed in the Ouija board. And then my friend Mark, who's an atheist skeptic, came up to my house and he's like, I don't even know why I'm coming up here, but I go, just please come up here. It works. And he comes up and he's like, okay, how about me and you do it without your brother? Locked in his room. I go, okay. So the Ouija board didn't do shit.
Goddamn Ouija board.
So I go to my brother. I go, "Were you fucking with me?" He's like, he starts laughing. So we go. We know my friend John was gullible as shit. So we go down to the house. We're like, "John, you got to come over." And he goes. And we were driving down to Mark's house. And Mark goes, "Okay." John did a report on this guy named General. It wasn't General Custer. It was General something. And I'm going to give you the encyclopedia, and you're going to read up on him. And he knows everything about him, and you're going to pretend you're him. And I'm like, okay. So I read up all about this general, how many captures he had, all these things. And he knew I wouldn't know any of this. So we go into Mark's room, and I'm doing it with John. And then he's like, who are we talking to? And he didn't believe it first, of course. And I go, General, whatever. And he's like, oh, my God. And it didn't even take any more than that. He goes, that's my 8th grade hero.
Shut up. Shut up.
That was the best part. He goes, Pat's my 8th grade hero. So he goes, so his skepticism is still there. He's like, how many kills did you have?
And you know.
I'm like, 58. That's it. We had him locked. Yeah. You know, it's done. It's done.
I love it.
So for about a half hour, of course, everyone we ran into on this Ouija board was famous. We ran into Hitler. We ran into Bonnie and Clyde. It was everybody that was
they got
dead.
Nothing better to do than hang out on Ouija boards. Yeah. No,
so the last thing we did, we were talking to, I remember I went to the Star. You know, there's pictures of a star.
Yeah.
I go to the Star and he goes, Star, what? And I spell pretty. And literally he goes like this. He goes, yes, it is a pretty star to the ghost. Like, this was the best thing ever. So then we,
how'd you not break? I
was so good. Yeah. So then we met Satan. That was the last person we met.
And Satan's the headliner.
Yeah, which yes. Close it out. Yeah. We were going to see Jim Carrey at the Hollywood Improv. That's how long ago this was. I was like 22. Okay. And, I spelt Satin instead of Satan, but he didn't notice. My friends point that out to me all the time. He's like, dude, you spelled Satin. I'm like, okay. So, John goes to get...
How would he know how to spell the name that he didn't even invent?
Yeah, exactly. John leaves the room for a second, and we go, when he comes back, let's tell him that the Satan's going to kill him tonight. And they're like...
of course.
So,
that's going to help.
So I go, me and Mark are just pretending to use it, and I go, John... When you were gone, Satan said he was going to kill somebody tonight. I go, we got to ask it who. He goes, who are you going to kill tonight? And we just go to the letter U and start circling it really fast. And we all run out of the room, and John's like, ah! So we're driving to the Improv.
Of course, because you got to go see stand-up comedy. Somebody's going to die tonight, but let's go get some comedy in.
I'm in the front seat. My friend Mark is driving. My friend Steve's in the back, and John's right here. And he's just like in the car like this. Like, literally, like, how is it going to happen? Like, is an axe going to come out of the sky? Like, he had no clue.
Is Jim Carrey going to kill us?
I'm going to kill at the Improv. Oh, my God.
I wasn't even doing comedy. So he goes... So finally, I go, I can't do this anymore. I go, John, we were fucking with you. He's like, yeah, right. Like, it took 15 minutes to convince him that it was fake.
Oh, right. Because now at this point, he just thinks you're doing that so he won't freak out.
Right, yeah. So finally,
let your guard down.
I go, John, they told me I spelled Satan wrong when you left the room. Like, you motherfuckers. It was so funny, though.
Today he's a Scientologist.
No, today he is a scientist.
Oh, is he?
And he kills rats.
He's super skeptical now. He's like, I believe nothing.
He does animal testing.
Did you ever see that movie, Ouija? It was like made in the 80s?
No.
Witchboard. I saw Witchboard.
I've heard of.
Maybe that's the one.
Maybe. Yeah.
It's like they're having a cool adult swinging contemporary party, and the guy brings a Ouija board.
Yeah.
And they're like, I used to play with those when I was a kid. And he's like, this isn't a toy. Yeah. And then he's like, if you guys aren't going to respect it, I'm bringing it home. And then they do the Ouija thing, and then somebody's like, let me borrow it. And he's like, never use the Ouija alone.
Yeah.
And it just becomes this thing where it's like dueling Ouija boards.
She jumps out of the window and lands on the spike.
And my friend John, who we fooled, he's like, the reason I believed was because my sister had a huge problem with the Ouija board. She actually threw it out in the trash, and the next day, it was in her closet again.
Isn't that in the movie?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think Parker Brothers produced that movie.
Oh, yeah.
That's
brought to you by Parker Brothers.
Well, now there's there's a group of people in where was the witch trial? Salem, Massachusetts, that make Ouija boards, and they're like authentic Ouija boards.
Yeah, from the source.
Really?
Straight from the source.
You fucking jackasses.
There's a lot of people.
That's where it's good to be skeptical, because it keeps your money in your wallet.
Yeah, I think I might have believed in witches when I was younger, because I wanted to cast some spells on people. You're like, oh, I wish I could get my hand on some spells.
Yeah, that would be fun.
I'll get her.
I think that's the entirety of beliefs in general, though. Isn't that the entirety of beliefs is like, you really just wish this was... I mean, I'm going to piss off anybody who's Christian at home right now, but like, I think that the majority of the reason that people still pray to God is because they just really wish, and I'm with you, I wish there was somebody just going like, I'm gonna fuck this person up for what they did. You know what I mean? Like, you wish, like, oh, that guy who spited me, I wish somebody was watching,
Karma Police,
saw what happened and was like, oh, I'm gonna fucking wreck that dude's car.
Yeah.
Well, you wish it would be that quick and obvious.
You were asking me earlier about...
It's just in general, really.
You were asking me earlier about stories.
Yes,
I do have one more that I just came
up
with. I went to...
You just came up with it. Well, I mean, if we're just making up stories.
Yeah, if you had less than a 2.0 average at CSUN, you would have to leave. You would get kicked out for... Not suspended, but like you'd be out of there for a while.
What's CSUN?
Cal State Northridge.
Okay.
So I had to go back to Pierce. because I got to fail in my only fail in my entire academic career.
Bowling? Was it bowling?
No, it was an 8 a.m. geology class that I just couldn't bring myself to go to, except for the tests, which I did.
I got rocks outside my house.
It's rocks at 8 a.m. Go learn about them.
Right.
Yeah, as soon as I found out it was optional, I was like,
you don't want to know about a nice rose quartz?
No,
That's
good.
Too early for rocks.
So anyways, I'm at Pierce, and these girls are in the back. First day of class, there's like this one girl and another girl who had like these like tattoos like that look kind of like witchcrafty. So I sit right in front of them.
My kind of girl.
The witchcrafty was cute. You would have loved her.
Yeah.
So they have a drawn out Ouija board, and they're using a hoop earring. They're playing with this in the back.
Oh,
Mitch.
Jesus.
And I was like, okay, so I'm going to sit right in front of these chicks. This is interesting. So I go, I sit down, I make myself comfortable, I get situated, I wait for them to stop talking for a second, I just turn around, I go, Ouija board, huh? And they're like, yep. And I go, who are you talking to? Some ghost named Lance. And I go, okay. I go, can I ask him a question? I go, can he like make things happen? Or is it just going to give us information? I go, can you make this pen come off my hand, Lance? And she goes, Lance, can you make the pen go out of his hand? So I'm sitting there turned toward the back of the class with a pen in my hand. And I ask Lance to make it move. And the earring comes off the,
For real?
Yes. Well, they're holding it.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know if it was them or not, but the earring went off towards me, and the guy in front of me's pen fell off of his fucking desk at that exact second. And he was definitely not a participant.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like he wasn't even part of this.
Did they scream?
No, I did. Like, they were expecting it to happen. So, like, that was another weird one. I was just like, cause I was holding the pen, and they were like, yeah, let's try it. And the guy right in front of me with his pen fell off the desk. I was like, that was weird.
I know when pens fall out the desk, it's time to
right when the earring went off the Ouija board.
That's where it's time to reevaluate everything you believed in.
Yeah. So
when pens start falling, it's mass chaos, dogs and cats living together.
Mass hysteria.
Well, it was weird to me.
It was weird to me too, Brian.
Yeah.
Thank you. So
was these Jersey girls playing on a Ouija board with hoops?
No, they were.
I want to talk to a ghost.
I'm asking a question.
His name's Lance.
Now I wonder if Lance has a Camaro.
Like my Jersey girl accent is terrible. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. Oh, hey, I had a question about this rap thing. This is sort of maybe this thing is like a lot of the rap that I don't listen to a lot of rap, but what I hear sort of third party. It's a lot of like bragging about the money and so on and so forth.
It's always been that way, though.
Well, it seems like it's gotten more popular. Maybe it has always been that way.
They brag about it before they even have it.
Ladies
well,
this
is what's interesting.
Drinks.
I remember a friend of mine found a kid's rap notebook on Hollywood Boulevard. It looked like a 13-year-old had written it. Everything's misspelled and whatever have you. And now these rap lyrics about like, bitches and hoes and money and whatever. And then he had like his business plan written out for like get his clothing label started, all this different stuff. And I just thought like, that's got to be really rough to be like an up and coming rapper talking about your bitches and money when you got no bitches or money.
Yeah, you gotta. It's like nothing succeeds like success. You gotta act,
fake it till you make it.
Yeah, fake it till you make it. Right.
Yeah.
That's a term I didn't hear until I moved. But when I visited Vegas, first weekend I visited Vegas, I heard "fake it till you make it" 5 different times, and I was like, "Is that like the motto around here?"
No, it's what stays in Vegas.
I actually wanted to be a rapper when I was in high school.
Oh.
Big time, yeah. Especially when I was like 15.
Can you still freestyle?
No, I had my own written raps.
Oh.
I've done them at Sardo's and shit.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's hear one. We can hear one now.
Let's get a beat going.
That's a good time.
I'm not very good at that. I'm gonna have to acapella.
It sounded like try to start one of those old airplanes.
Here's the sad part. I actually ended up in UCLA at Mardi Gras one time, battling a bunch of like black dudes, and I was like, me and my friends were the only white guys there. We didn't even know what Mardi Gras was, and I did this particular rap about 30 times that night because I was drunk.
Cats, boots, cats, boots, cats.
This is my only rap. You ready for
Let's
it?
hear it.
Yeah.
It's like 5 lines.
I was trying to give you a beat, but go ahead.
Okay,
Let's do it.
here we go.
Here we go.
You're in my palace, motherfucker. Bow down. I'm head of staff. I'm your king. You're my jester. I command you make me laugh. I'm laughing at your face, punk. I don't mean to diss, but subtract the B from base, and that's what you can kiss. You wanna beat me? Keep sleeping on that dream. I'm a 99-ton iceberg. You're a molecule of steam. So just step back and get the fuck out my face, cause I'm the woofer, you're the tweeter, you're the treble, I'm the bass. I only got one line left. Remember, you've been warned. Just like a killer bee on your face, my lyrics swarmed. My name was the Killer Bee, so that's why that makes sense.
I like that you used the word molecule.
Molecule of steam.
In a rap. It's
Yeah.
an educated rap.
I felt like somewhere in there was the ingredients for ice.
Yeah.
Something.
That's how-
99, 100.
That's the hidden. That's the hidden message.
And you have to know how to spell bass. There's spelling involved.
Yeah, if you spell it BASE, they're like, "What the fuck's he talking about?"
Yeah,
Why am
I
using
did
Ace?
for a second go.
I saw you pondering that.
Yeah,
I was
I
like,
did.
"Oh, she'll figure it out in a
Yeah,
second."
I did. I figured it out pretty quick.
See, then maybe change it to something largemouth bass, and then remove a letter. People will go, "Oh, right," because it still sounds like.
I like people to have to think about it.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. Also, where would you put a largemouth bass in there? I would
In your
just
face.
It just wouldn't fit.
in your face.
right.
Yes.
Kiss.
All upside your face with a largemouth
Bass.
bass. Yeah, I'm with you.
Remove the B. That's what you can kiss.
The only thing I had left was this was like part of the what do you believe in thing, and this is just something that people think about and nobody knows the answer to.
What?
And it's just kind of weird that we don't, and we're in this world. What happens? Like, how could space go on forever? Like, there's no wall at the end. Like, how can anything go on forever, Mitch?
Okay.
He knows. This is great. Look, he's like, okay.
Yeah. Oh, can we also? Do you guys believe in past lives?
I don't.
Well, I can answer both questions. Okay, so here, let's check it. Scientifically, you can ask Neil deGrasse Tyson. You could have asked Carl Sagan back in the day. Sniffle. Scientists will tell you that the atoms in your body form an unbroken line traced all the way back to the beginnings of the universe, if you will, which scientists now believe is not so much a beginning so much as it's like an undulating back and forth, like a expansion collapse, right? Let's supposing. This is all theories. I'm just saying, if you want an explanation.
How'd you like to have Mitch at 8 in the morning?
This is not fact. I'm not saying this is facts. I'm just telling you this is like the best science has got so far.
The Atheist Love Seat with Mitch.
All right, I like it. So, in philosophy, if you've done any studies of philosophy, when they talk about a deity, almost every religion has a deity, some of them polytheistic. But a deity, an eternal, in philosophy is defined by self-existing, self-maintaining, no beginning, no end, right? The Ouroboros, the infinity symbol, things like this.
Right.
No beginning, no end, self-existing, self-maintaining. In essence, if an atom cannot be created nor destroyed, that would, in philosophical terms, be an eternal thing. So if you just considered, here I'm getting hippie, Mr. Meditation's going to love this. If all the atoms just always were, always will be, and are the self-existing, self-maintaining, then everyone is just a trillion tiny little pieces of an eternal God. Ergo, as is the universe, because the argument has to go, well, what's outside of the universe? How can something be outside of that? And if it just is everything, if everything always is, always was, and always will be, and just changing shapes, which would go with your past lives thing, then you'd have a scientific answer to all that.
So what happens when you get to the wall?
There would be no wall. There's just no.
But then it just keeps going.
It is everything. But I mean,
I have a question.
We're only
that
human.
Makes me feel
it's
a lot
very
less
difficult.
Guilty about eating a brownie later for some reason.
Yeah, by all means.
It makes it smaller. Here's a question. Okay. They say the universe is expanding.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
what is it expanding onto?
Okay. When they talk about the universe expanding, they're literally just talking about the space between various things. Because the idea between the Big Bang is that things just expanded outwards from a unified center.
But if the universe is expanding and getting bigger, what is it expanding onto other than the universe?
And what was outside that center?
It's just basically moving. They're moving apart from each other.
Why did they
Things
kick
just
Pluto
moving
out?
Apart. Because it wasn't.
Didn't have all the elements of a planet.
It didn't fit their definition of a planet by the current standards of what
We're talking about the
unit.
And why did they kick Pluto out?
It was controversial to call it a planet in the beginning.
We voted him off.
So that's what happened. It was controversial at the time that it was called a planet. People at the time were like, I don't really think that's a planet. But like, we were all excited about space, and it was like, let them fucking have it. We'll go to the moon if we call it a fucking planet.
Right.
So we could get all excited, and Disney could create a character after it, and we all were like, yay, a new planet! And we got all excited about the space. So it's more controversial that it ever was a planet than it was
How
to
come
not
Pluto
be
can't
anymore.
talk? Like,
I know, but Goofy can, right?
Oh, you're
every animal, every
Oh.
animal can talk in that
Except
world,
Pluto.
except for Pluto. He's like the dumb animal. Like,
He does it all in sign
Maybe
paw
we
language.
don't know, but
Because
he's
he's
the
Mickey's
retard.
pet.
yeah. Once you become somebody's pet, you're kind of like in a lower
You're
scale.
a pet. You gotta have
He
a
probably
pet.
gets less pay than the other.
Oh.
Also, Disney got a lot of shit for making all the talking animals because kids would get upset that their animals weren't talking to them.
Yeah.
So they were like, well, let's give them a fucking animal that everybody has, a big dumb dog that just goes, roar, roar, roar.
Yeah.
Although I do remember seeing Pluto eat a whole stick of chaw. You ever see that one? And he just threw up everywhere. And you're
I didn't
like,
see
that's
that.
not right for kids.
Have you ever noticed sometimes Goofy doesn't have ears? Like, yeah, there's a couple episodes where he's like a man, sort of, and he's like walking.
I can do a half a second Goofy impression.
So can I. Let's see who does it better.
All right.
And I don't do a good
You want to
one.
go first or want me to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, gosh.
That's pretty good.
Almost the exact same thing. So.
Gosh. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's about the same thing.
Do your...
I love how we were doing.
Yeah.
I thought Mitch was more the Goofy with no ears, and you were the Goofy with ears.
I
That's
like
what
having
got out of
ears.
it.
I like how we were talking about past lives and the universe, and then went to Goofy.
That was you with the
'Cause of
Pluto
Pluto.
comment.
Was that me?
And then
Yeah.
we talked about
you don't even
Disney.
know you did the transition
Yeah.
for us.
Oh, God, I know.
So the expanding though is more like the space between things. I'm not much of a scientist, so I mean they'll give you a better better answer, but that's the basic
So
idea.
if the
that
universe
things-
is 500 million light years across, like that's what I
I know
understand.
this. I know the question and I know the answer, but go ahead.
No, give me the question.
You're going to ask yourself, how could we be further from one end to the other than we are the existence of the universe?
He knows. He's in my head, Brian.
Whoa.
Because okay, for instance, if the
He has
universe,
to be ready for all you meditation types.
I'm gonna get these numbers wrong.
What number is he thinking right now?
But like, if for instance, if they were to say the universe is 500 million years old, and they just mean from the Big Bang, not so much the universe, but
How
just-
old is the
No, I'm
universe?
talking about the size.
I don't know. I'm just saying to answer your
Tell
question.
us, Mitch.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know everything. I don't even know that much of anything. This is just one of those subjects I like. One of the arguments is like, well, if the universe is, let's say, 500 million light years wide, and we're, as a planet, 750 million light years from
Earth,
Alpha Centauri, or Betelgeuse, or what's the really big one? I can't think of it. Anyway, how could that be possible? How could we be further in light years, in time, from any given object if the entire life of the universe is less time than it would to travel that distance? And the answer is because as everything expanded outwards, you get further distances than you would the time to travel them. You see what I'm saying? Like, if we stood in one spot and I walked 200 feet and you walked 200 feet, we both walked 200 feet, but now we're 400 feet away from each other. So it's that.
I have a show in Irvine at 9.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I gotta wrap this up. You push. What are you doing? Are you plugging anything?
You pushing anything?
You pushing anything, dude?
If you want to hear more ramblings, every week I do a show, except for tomorrow. Tomorrow we're doing on Tuesday this week, but
every Monday.
But
normally.
every Monday at 7 p.m. I do a show called Straight Riffin'. You can get that at riffin.net, riffin.net, and you can find all our information on there for following and such.
You can go to Ro Delle Grazie, Rodelle.
That's an awesome website. Someone must have really been creative.
Brian created
very,
my website. It's
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah.
Ro
monarchwebsites.com. You can go check rodellegrazie.com.
RoDelleGrazie.com. It's awesome.
If you can spell it, why don't you spell it, Ro?
Yeah.
Wow, that was a plug
yeah.
block I've ever seen.
RODELLEGRAZIE.com.
And can we hear her say New York one more time?
Oh, New York.
You gotta make that a dub so you could drop it in the future.
Yeah,
New
I will.
York.
In New York.
Yeah.
What HBO shows can I look forward to for a season?
Yeah, I only do shows that are canceled after the first season.
I do want to real quick. What was that like? If you could sum it up quickly, to be part of a show that you were like, "Oh my God, I'm in the HBO family." It's gonna, and then it just ends. Do you feel like somebody kicked your puppy? Or?
Yeah, it was like over before I could even get excited.
Oh,
before I could even be done working. Yeah.
Sorry.
So, are you pushing anything right now?
Yeah.
Plugging anything?
I'm at jasonlove.com. I got an easy name.
Yeah,
JasonLove.com.
Jason Love, the meditation type
He meditates.
.com. And I've got. How about this? I've got a show on. When does this drop?
Is there like a floating?
Now.
You doing the lotus thing? Like you're like this?
Yeah.
It's like floating in the center of the page.
That's right.
Welcome to the site.
I'm just me and the lotus flower.
Yeah, like
because all that ever is and all that ever will be and all. Okay. But on
same page,
September 27th at Movie Co, I have a show. It's a monthly show. That's the next one. It's in Thousand Oaks, and that'll be Eric Schwartz and Andrew Norelli. And
they're
myself.
funny.
Oh, fun.
Wait, are you doing Tanya's show Thursday next week?
Yes, I
Okay,
am.
we're both going to be doing Tanya's show.
She's not going to throw anything at us.
Yeah, it won't be any throwing.
No tomatoes.
I can't remember the name of the venue or where
it's
it's
the
at.
Palms. It's in West Hollywood. It's a lesbian bar.
Yeah.
I had a show there once. Yeah.
It's
She
fun.
said it
Good
without
bar.
whispering
Good
it.
bar.
It's the oldest
You can
lesbian
see both of us
transgender.
perform.
Yes. And
not throw anything at either
don't
of
throw
us.
anything at us.
All right. That wraps up episode 14. 014, as I like to say.
Hooray!
Thank you guys for coming down. I really appreciate it. And we will... Oh, great. This thing's not starting at the right place as usual.
Dewey Ovary.
There we go.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So bad with the outro music.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Thank you.